Good morning, friends and family. Welcome to Executing My Exes Ministries Freedom Fridays with your host, which is myself, Ashley D. Listen, the Lord has allowed us to see one more Friday, and it just so happened to be the last Friday in the month of March. We are ending the first quarter, and we are about to step over into quarter 2 of 2023. So we ought to give God glory, honor, and praise just for his goodness and his mercy. Listen, most of you are on your way to work or currently at work right now, and I just want to give you a few words of encouragement on today. So listen, if you've been following EME, you know we have been talking about March Madness with a spiritual twist. And so I thought it was befitting to talk about one of the greatest marches in the Bible, and that is the fall of Jericho, which can be found in Joshua chapter 6 for you to go back and read at your leisure. So in the previous weeks, we talked about a theme that the Israelites had as they marched around the walls of Jericho. We talked about marching in faith, marching with obedience, marching courageously, marching with endurance. And this week, I want to talk about how they march in trust. In God, we trust. So what is the definition of trust? Trust is defined as the firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. To have confidence or to having an assurance that leads to action. Again, trust is defined as the firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. It also means to have confidence or having an assurance that leads to action. So if you, just with that definition, you already know that the Israelites marched around with trust. Trusting God that he was going to allow those walls to come tumbling down. Now, truth be honest, let's be honest, normally when you have to break walls down, you have to have certain hardware, certain tools, normally out here, you got public works, streets and bridges, highways, all those different things. And they have to have all of these tools to break walls. But the instructions that the Lord gave Joshua to give to the Israelites was just for them to march around the walls of Jericho. Now, it was to march around one time each day for 6 days. And then on the 7th day, they were to march around 7 times, blowing horns, blowing trumpets, and yelling until the walls came tumbling down. That's not hardware. That's not the human stuff that we normally see that is used to break down walls. But they just marched. Meaning that you have to have some trust that God is going to do exactly what he said he's going to do. You got to have some confidence. You got to have some assurance that he is going to do exceeding abundantly above all that we could ever ask or think. Like, he's going to do what he's said that he was going to do. And I feel like now, if we be honest, if we go back and read, the Israelites didn't always have trust in God. Now, even though he's shown himself trustworthy and faithful, like he led them across the Red Sea on dry ground, then showed that same exact miracle with allowing them to cross the Jordan River on dry ground. He has shown himself mighty and faithful and trustworthy. But at times, and like the Israelites, they lost their faith. They lost their trust in God. And you know where that ended them at? They ended up being in the wilderness for 40 years. We don't want to be in the wilderness for 40 years. But let's talk about us. There have been times God has always shown himself mighty, trustworthy, and faithful. But we have at times lost our trust in him. And because of that, we have been walking around in the wilderness for quite a bit of years too, where we didn't get to our promised land. We didn't get to the things that God had promised us, or we haven't made it there just quite yet because we have lost trust and we have lost faith. So I want to encourage you today on this beautiful Friday, march in trust. March knowing that God has you. Have total dependency and reliance on him. If we could just be obedient to the instructions that he has given us, God will actually show us what it is that he has promised us. But we got to trust him. We have to put our faith into action by trusting him. Trusting him to a place where We are totally dependent. We have our strength, like all strength is on him, knowing that he is going to do exactly what he said he's going to do. This week, one of my friends have been praying for a door to open, and they had a particular deadline. And when I tell you the trust, the faith that God was going to do it really went above and beyond. We had prayed, we trusted God, and literally 2 or 3 days before their deadline, God opened that door. You got to trust him. You got to trust. We got to stop putting God in a box that like he can only do a certain, limited things. God can do more than we could ever ask or think. So today, I just want to encourage you just for a few moments. I don't want to hold up a lot of your time. Is to march, trusting God. In God we trust. We got that on our money. That is supposed to be our motto for the entire, USA. But do we really trust him? Do we really believe that he's going to do it? So I want you to activate your trust today. Put your faith into action by trusting God that he's going to do exactly what he said he's going to do. Whenever you feel down, whenever you feel like the world is about to swallow you up, and oftentimes we lose our trust and our faith in God because of everything that's going on around us. But I'm going to tell you one thing that helps me a lot. Richard Smallwood's song, Trust Me. If only you would trust me. I'll fight your battles. I'll be with you. Just trust me. Trust God. He has shown himself to be trustworthy. He has shown himself to be faithful. He has shown himself to be mighty. God can do the impossible. So I just want to encourage you to trust him on today. In God we trust. March in trust. We talked about marching with faith, marching with obedience, marching courageously, marching with endurance. But now I just want to encourage you to march with trust. March in God we trust. Going forward, this year, 2023, we said we're doing things differently. So march, trusting in him that he's going to do exactly what he said he's going to do. I hope something is said to encourage you on this beautiful Friday. I love you. I will see you next week. Thank you for tuning in and to Executing My Exodus Ministries Freedom Fridays with your host, which is myself, Ashley. God bless you.